Hello everyone, I am going to discuss on the topic multi-path channel which comes under the chapter multi-user radio communication. Now, as the name implies, multi-user communication refers to the simultaneous use of communication channel by a number of users. In this topic, we are going to discuss on the characteristics or the statistical characteristics of multi-path channels. So before going into the statistical characteristics of multi-path channels, we need to know what do you mean by multi-path phenomenon, what do you mean by multi-path channel, and where does it occur. Now, when we are discussing about radio propagation, and we know radio propagation takes place mainly by the way of scattering from the surfaces of the surrounding buildings or by diffraction, so that energy reaching the receiving antenna will be through more than one path, so that a multi-path phenomenon occurs in which the various incoming radio waves reach their destination from different directions and with different time delays. That means at the receiving antenna in radio propagation, the radio waves will reach the final destination at different time instants, and so there will be different time delays between the radio waves. And this phenomenon is known as multi-path phenomenon. That means each radio wave take different paths. They travel through different paths and reaches the receiver. So obviously they take different direction and there will be different time delays. Or they reach the destination at different time. There will be delay occurring. And multi-path result in two effects normally. One is rapid fading. Fading means decrease in the strength. And other is a spread in the Doppler shift of the received signal. That is, Doppler shift will be, there will be a spread. There will be an increase in the Doppler shift of the received signal. Now, consider a mobile radio channel with, say, multiple propagation paths. And according to the complex notation that is already described, we may express the transmitted bandpass signal as shown by this equation. Okay, S of t is equal to real part of S cap of t, where S cap of t represents the complex envelope of this signal S of t, okay, into exponential j 2 pi of ct. This equation is according to the complex notation that is already described. Now consider this transmit bandpass signal passing through a channel, and due to various multi-path effects, what happens? The channel becomes time varying, and the impulse response of the channel is delay dependent, and therefore this impulse response will be a time varying function. And since the impulse response is a time varying function, we call this impulse response as a delay spread function also. So we call this impulse function as a delay spread function, and this impulse response of the channel is represented using this equation as shown, okay, where h tau comma t represents the impulse response of the channel, where tau is the delay. Now, if you take the Fourier transform of this impulse response, okay, of this impulse response, if we take the Fourier transform of this impulse response, or we call this impulse response also as the delay spread function or the input delay spread function. So if we take the Fourier transform of this input delay function, we will get another function, another time varying transfer function. Okay, so how do you take the Fourier transform? That all we have already studied in signals and all. If you want to take the Fourier transform of a signal, say x of t, how do you take? We integrate it over a time, or like if we have to take the Fourier transform of x of t, equation is minus infinity to infinity integrating x of t into multiplied by exponential minus j 2 pi f t dt. Over a particular time interval we integrate. Okay. So similarly that equation is applied here also. The input delay spread function, okay, we take the Fourier transform of this and we will get a new function that is a time varying transfer function. Fourier transform of the input delay spread function with respect to the delay variable tau. This is the equation for Fourier transform. We will get a new time varying transfer function. Okay. And this time varying transfer function that can be viewed as the frequency transmission characteristic of the channel. Now we are going to define the autocorrelation function of the input delay spread function. Okay, input delay spread function we have already discussed. Now we are going to take the autocorrelation function of this input delay spread function. We have already learned the basic equation of autocorrelation function, the definition of autocorrelation function. Okay, it's the basics of communication systems. So this is the equation for autocorrelation function. It is obtained by taking the expectation of the input delay spread function at two time instant. Here at t1, t2, tau1, tau2. Tau1, tau2 are the delay, t1, t2, two time instant. So this is the input delay spread function at two time interval. Expectation of this will give you the autocorrelation function. Now this can be represented as such, or there is a specialized form of this autocorrelation function. Okay, specialized form of this autocorrelation function can be represented by means of an autocorrelation profile. Clear? Okay, so also known as autocorrelation profile. It's a specialized form of autocorrelation function. Or in fact, the Fourier transform of the autocorrelation profile. So if we take the Fourier transform of the autocorrelation profile is represented by this term, taking the Fourier transform of autocorrelation profile. So integrating inside the integral, the autocorrelation profile multiplied by exponential minus j2 pi delta f tau d tau will give the Fourier transform of this autocorrelation profile. Will give you another function. This is a specialized form of autocorrelation function obtained by taking the Fourier transform of autocorrelation profile. Okay. Now this function, see, it's already denoted as autocorrelation of delta f depending upon delta f comma delta t. So delta f means frequency spaced, delta t means spaced time spaced. So we call this function as spaced frequency spaced time correlation function. It is obtained from the autocorrelation function. First we find the autocorrelation function. From the autocorrelation function we obtain the autocorrelation profile, and by taking the Fourier transform of this autocorrelation profile we get a new function that is called the spaced frequency spaced time correlation function of the channel. This is an important characteristic of the multipath channel. Okay. Now once we know the autocorrelation profile of the autocorrelation profile, we can define a new term known as scattering function. Scattering function is obtained as the Fourier transform of the autocorrelation profile. Again, we know how do you take the Fourier transform of autocorrelation profile? Integral minus infinity into infinity the function. Here autocorrelation profile is the function multiplied by e raised to minus j 2 pi v, where v is the Doppler shift into delta t d delta t. Okay, scattering function is depending upon two variables. One is the delay tau and v is the Doppler shift. Now substitute in the equation for autocorrelation profile, you will get a new equation for the scattering function as shown. Okay. So this scattering function is represented as S, and taking the integral of this scattering function we will get power spectral density of the channel output. Now we are going to move on to the next topic, coherence time and coherence bandwidth. It's a very important topic. So before going to the coherence time or coherence bandwidth, we need to learn some definitions. Okay. So first let us learn what do you mean by coherence bandwidth. Before going into the definition of coherence bandwidth, we need to know the definition of delay power spectrum denoted by P of tau. P of tau is nothing, it is delay power spectrum or multipath intensity profile of the channel. This delay power spectrum or multipath intensity profile of the channel represented by P of tau, okay, is obtained by integration or by averaging all the scattering function. Scattering function we have already seen in the previous slide. This is the scattering function. By averaging or integrating the scattering function, we will get the delay power spectrum or the multipath intensity profile. Now after you obtain the delay power spectrum, we need to find two moments. One is the first central moment and the other one is the second central moment. By taking the first central moment, you will get average delay, and by taking the second central moment, you will get delay spread. So that is what it is mentioned here. Two statistical moments we have to take. Through one moment you will get average delay, and through the other one you will get delay spread. Okay, so the average delay is obtained by taking the first moment of what? This term, delay power spectrum. And this is the basic equation of finding the first central moment. We have already learned this in the probability basics and all. The first delay spread. The average delay, tau average, is obtained by taking the first central moment obtained by this equation 0 to infinity tau, because P of tau depending upon tau. So tau into P of tau d tau divided by integral of this delay power spectrum without tau variable. This is how you find the first central moment. Now if you find the second, once you find the first central moment, we will get what? We will get the average delay. Now finding the second central moment is as shown here. Okay, inside this bracket, the term inside this bracket shows the formula or shows the method to find the second moment. Here there was tau was raised to 1. The power was 1, right? Here for when you find the second central moment, tau minus tau average whole raised to 2 into others remain the same. Only the power varies. Once you find the second central moment, take the square root of the second central moment. You will get what? The delay spread represented by sigma tau. And the reciprocal of this delay spread will give you coherence bandwidth. So this is how we find the coherence bandwidth. Once again I will repeat it. First find the delay power spectrum. It is obtained by integrating or averaging the scattering function. Then you find the first central moment. First central moment will give you average delay. Now you take the square root of the second central moment and the reciprocal of this term. Once you take the square root of the second central moment, we will get the delay spread, and the reciprocal, that is 1 by sigma tau, will give you coherence bandwidth of the channel BC. Now we need to define what is coherent time. So in order to define coherence time, like we have defined here delay power spectrum, in order to define coherence time, we need to define a new term, Doppler spectrum. Okay, Doppler spectrum is obtained by integrating or averaging the scattering function. See, this is Doppler spectrum, this is the scattering function. Integrating the scattering function will give you Doppler spectrum. Now we have to obtain a new term, that is Doppler. We have to define a new term, that is Doppler spread sigma V. Doppler spread is obtained again by taking the square root of the second moment of Doppler spectrum. So here we define Doppler spectrum. Now inside this bracket, this shows the second moment of the Doppler spectrum. Again, second moment means square raised to 2. So V square SH of dV divided by integral this term. Square root will give you Doppler spread, and 1 by Doppler spread will give you the coherence time of the channel. So first we define Doppler spectrum, take the second moment, take the square root of the second moment of the Doppler spectrum, we will get the Doppler spread, and reciprocal of this Doppler spread will give you coherence time. So this is how we define the coherence time and the coherence bandwidth. Thank you.